Interject.
You will, but I just wanted to read the Citizen Service Delivery Charter by the Kenya Revenue Authority. Processing of tax compliance, compliant taxpayers, individuals and non-individuals, the cost is free and it is within, the timeline is within 1 day.
Some, which
so
is
a... 1 day lasted.
Oh, you can do it in anticipation. There's nothing wrong with that.
You know, we find ourselves in a...
You can do it in anticipation?
Yes, you can do it in anticipation. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
So the president was free to seek clearance for Professor Kindiki ahead of time?
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
We find ourselves in...
So he believed Rigathi Gachagua was going to be impeached?
I don't know. It's nothing to do with
the president. Which is a very good argument that he has brought on board, that they anticipated the end and the result of Parliament vote and Senate vote. So they had anticipated already. And they were very well aware that this impeachment process, which I have said for all purposes and intent is shambolic, that it was going to end up in the impeachment of the Deputy President. Sam, just allow me to mention, we have what we call the Employment Act. Yeah. And it defines the working hours of public servants.
And commissions.
Some. It also, even for commissions, some, we have, if you recall very well in 2007, we had a chaotic swearing-in ceremony in the midnight of a president-elect. And that is why...
It was 5. It was 5.
No, I'm saying it was
5.
It was evening hours. It was late.
It was 6.
It was late.
Carry on.
And that is why we have in place what we call the Assumption of Office of the President Act. And it is quite unfortunate to see that, given the progress we have made in our legislation and in our democracy, that they still... And this government is a government that I voted for, and I am a part of this government because I'm elected under UDA ticket, that there is such ill will and intent to circumvent the law and suppress the rules of natural justice. And all this was being done to ensure that the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, does not get to be heard by the courts of law, and that status quo is not maintained so that they can swear in the nominee as quickly as can be. And you know, you don't need an IQ of even more than 50 to see this, Sam. And the public has been following closely. Even in Kirinyaga County, my people told me that they are waiting. They are waiting to see the outcome in the courts before they can make a decision on how they feel about this process. Because in the Senate, in Parliament, I mean, really.
So let me ask you, how much time is reasonable, according to you, for the President and the National Assembly to move?
I think for me, and I believe even as a general rule of practice, that is why you see even notices being said, issue a notice of 7 days. That is reasonable time. And even in regard to public participation, Sam, you remember there was a court order issued to the National Assembly to ensure that public participation is done in line with the jurisprudence in place. Public participation is not a cosmetic process. But then what the National Assembly undertook is purely a cosmetic process, you know, for the purposes of doing it. Let's do this so that, you know, we tick a box.
You mean
but then the procedure and the order, even the order was very clear. There has to be reasonable notice. Reasonable notice for all purposes and intent, even with the various legislations that we have, is normally 7 days. You have to publicize the venue. You have to publicize the time.
You're not talking about the impeachment motion?
I am talking about the proceedings of the impeachment at the National Assembly level.
So you're saying the public participation should be 7 days?
No, I'm saying reasonable notice. I'm giving you an example of what reasonable notice would be, right?
But
according to the interpretation of the Supreme Court.
The special motion has to be considered within 7 days.
No, I have said according to general practice. But those 7 days, even if you give 2 days notice, Sam, or 3 days notice, that is in order. But then we saw the process done within, you know, it's like we were just, there was such hurry to do it. And it beats the purpose. And that is why I say the entire process is shambolic, because it is shrouded in mystery and ill will and ill intent. And that is what any Kenyan has read from this process?
Okay.
I haven't talked for long.
Sorry, Senator Manzo.